Oh yeah. So we're fine. You're in recovery.
Yeah. Hey, podcasters, podcast listeners, Star Vehicle riders. I'm in recovery.
You're on the mend.
I'm on the mend.
Do you want to share what happened to you?
Yeah, it's a little hard to talk about.
Honestly,
I just broke character.
It's not my story, but I mean, you injured yourself roller skating, and I remember going to roller skating birthday parties growing up and knowing this is unsafe. I knew that it was unsafe. And one time I went to one and it was like, whatever, some kid. And the kid's dad at the birthday, it was his birthday. Well, not the dad's birthday, it was the kid's birthday. The dad fell and shattered his arm on the skating rink, roller rink. And because I don't know if this was
happen in the late 90s, like early 2000s.
So dangerous. Because not only did they let you skate around the rink, they would also play games where you would have to sprint like to the corners, 4 corners, or like limbo on skates. It was out of control.
I know.
So to hear that you injured yourself just simple skating was
rollerblading. Yeah.
Rollerblading.
Rollerblading. Get it right. I don't know. My workouts have been feeling kind of stagnant lately. I've been feeling like a little bit uninspired. I've been having very little fun at the gym. So I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to get a pair of
Let's take it to the
rollerblades.
streets.
Let's take it to the streets. The cracked, bumpy, leaf-ridden streets.
Yeah. Of Los Angeles.
Of dirty, dirty LA.
Yeah.
The suburbs of LA. And I was like, you know what? I probably should get a helmet, elbow pads, knee pads, wrist guards.
But I would have purchased those before I got the skates.
Yeah. So you see, not me. That's not how I roll. So I was just like, you know what? I don't think I need them. I think I used to be a pretty great rollerblader, and like, how fast could I be going?
You would assume it's like riding a bike, and the same principle applies. How fast could you be going? And what could surprise you along the way, right? You're not rollerblading blind.
I'm truly
you can see.
Cry laughing just looking at these rollerblades because they're so big and they're like roller derby professional skates, and they have 80 millimeter wheels, which are like the fast ones.
Wow. Are you thinking of joining a roller derby league?
That would be very
with
bad.
That movie
for my
with
image.
Drew Barrymore?
I love that movie. Do you know Whip It's like my favorite movie ever?
Wild.
Truly
well
wild.
Now it makes sense now with your injury.
I'll streamline the story because it all goes. After I fell, I was a buzz. We have like an alleyway in the back of our house and it's really smooth, so I'm enjoying the shit out of myself. I'm having a grand old time. What I don't realize is
back and forth.
Yeah, like I'm just kind of going in a circle. I wanted to go to the gym, so I was like, let's just like have fun for a second. And I had successfully skated the day before for like an hour around town.
Oh. Okay.
So I was kind of cocky. And so we have like an alleyway behind our house and I'm skating in it. And I don't check the pitch of this alley past a certain point.
Ahead of time.
Yeah, I didn't check it
ahead
of time.
Yeah, you should have surveyed it.
Didn't survey it. Didn't know where things
get dicey.
You
didn't walk the course.
Didn't walk the course. And yesterday I drove up this pitch. It is so steep.
And this is what you went down?
So I'm pretty on like flat ground until all of a sudden I'm clearly not.
Yeah.
And I am going downhill fast. I am flying downhill. It is like downhill skiing and there is no meandering pattern. It's just a straight
I'm glad
line.
you brought skiing up because I know how to slow myself down when I'm skiing, but I don't. How do you? You're right. How do you pizza wedge when you're roller skating too?
I'm in a full panic. I'm panicking because I'm
rollerblading. Sorry.
I'm rollerblading downhill, rapidly approaching the next street. Like
terminal velocity.
I'm about to fly into a street of like very rough pavement. And I was like, A, I can get hit by a car. B, my skate is going to hit this pavement and I'm going to stop short and just fucking fly.
Yeah.
So I have to make a game time decision and I have to throw myself at the ground.
You have to abort. You have to abandon ship.
So I managed to, like, as I'm downhill flying, I managed to, like, kind of turn. Usually a pretty good turner. And I managed to, like, kind of do a little spin around and kind of slow myself down enough to just throw myself at the pavement kind of slower. I threw myself to the ground. And I only hit one elbow, one wrist, and scraped up a few fingers. And I don't know if you've recently fallen, but when you fall, you're really shaky.
Oh yeah.
Like, my adrenaline was through the roof, and I was trembling. And I started making phone calls, texts to loved ones.
I remember I was texting you at this time not knowing that you were on the ground, and you kept like misspelling so many words. And then all of a sudden you're like, sorry, I'm literally bleeding right now because I fell during a horrific rollerblading accident. And again, it was a bad time to set boundaries, but I literally was like,
sad.
Okay, sad. But
you literally wrote sad.
I was like, I can't take this on right now.
Guys at home, Steven,
I just needed to drop in.
Steven never wants to take on my emotions ever, and it's fine.
Well, now hearing it sounds a lot worse than what I thought. But I understand where you were coming from, because when you fall, especially as an adult, it is
life
your
or death.
natural instinct. But your natural instinct is to immediately brush it off. Because it's like mentally, you want to convince it to everyone that you're fine even though you suffered this traumatic experience.
Yeah, I was traumatized, and I just got up, dusted myself off, was like, I hope no one saw that. Skated immediately back to my back door, ripped the skates off, threw them in the house, and I was like,
wow,
this.
you got back on the wheels?
On the wheels. Well, I was now going in the uphill position, so I felt a little bit safer. I need to take a picture. That sounds really hard. I'm going to take a photo of the pitch of this driveway.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
It was so scary. I thought I might break something. This was best case scenario.
I'm surprised. I was throwing your body weight against the ground as a break.
I had no choice. I was shaking after, and I couldn't text. I kept misspelling things because my wrist was tweaked, and we're good now.
It caused some communication difficulties, but that's okay.
I was kind of hoping it was a little worse. I definitely wanted more photos. I wanted some blood. There's nothing.
Right. Yeah. Your injury doesn't really match the description right now, but I'll take your word for it.
It just feels sore, but
yeah,
it's because I was wearing a really thick sweatshirt, because I was like, okay, if I'm not going to wear elbow pads, I might as well wear a sweatshirt.
You didn't have, oh my gosh.
I had no pads on. I told you I was skating without them.
I know. It's hard to hear.
No helmet as well. Don't tell my mom. Don't tell my mom.
No, okay. She was wearing it.
My mom used to chase the neighborhood kids down with helmets in her hand. She'd be like, hey, pull over. Stick helmets on their heads.
Smart.
Yeah, my mom's kind of like the token helmet lady around town. It's kind of her thing.
Yeah, could be worse.
Do we think Elle Woods would find herself rollerblading down a steep slope?
No.
Of course not.
No.
She'd rather
maybe
go to
skiing.
Yeah, she'd go to Colorado.
Or hanging out in the lodge.
Oh, yeah. Hot cocoa in the lodge.
But
spiked hot cocoa.
Probably not rollerblading down a driveway pitch.
Yeah. When it comes to skiing for me, I'm good for 2 or 3 runs, and then you can find me at the lodge in front of the fire. Do you ski?
No. I mean, I like to ski. I haven't been in a minute, but now I really want to go. But
yeah. Well, anyway.
Hope you're feeling better.
I am. Thank you. Thanks for caring.
Sure.
And let's travel back in time to 2001.
Yeah.
Why not?
2001. And
the movie is
Legally Blonde, which I've seen a million times.
Yes.
You've seen one time. And that would be the one time you watched it for this.
Yesterday. I know.
That's
I
crazy to me.
feel obviously ashamed and kind of how, but I've given this disclaimer before many a time, and I'll say it again. I don't like watching movies in the middle unless I've seen it already. So
Yeah.
when this was on television, which is all the time on MTV.
Oh, it's always on the E network.
The E network, yes. When this was on TV, I would just like turn it off because I was like, I want to catch this from the get. And I'm so glad I did because wow.
It really builds on itself. So if you miss the beginning, I agree. You're not.
The beginning sets the tone for the whole thing.
Sets the tone. And I think that, especially for people like you who haven't seen the movie, I think that you would look at it and judge it for what it's not. Like thinking that it fits neatly in with a lot of these other movies that we've taken a look at during this time period. And it really feels fresh still.
This is a complete standalone, standout, holds up 20 years later movie.
Yeah, and I think like in our little Reese mini unit that we've done, of course, this is my favorite Reese.
This is the best.
Way more than Sweet Home Alabama.
Oh, yeah. You didn't love that. You didn't love it.
Didn't love Sweet Home Alabama. So this is a really nice reprieve from some of those other performances.
Oh, yes.
And it's great to see Selma Blair again.
Yes, Selma Blair. I taped this for YouTube yesterday, and the whole first 20 minutes, I called her Selma Hayek.
Which
is embarrassing.
Unfortunate. Yeah, it's really embarrassing.
So embarrassing. I just flipped the name. I know who I'm looking at. I just flipped the names.
Sure.
I promise.
But this is the energy that I really wanted from Selma Blair in Cruel Intentions.
I agree.
Right? Like,
this is a way better fit for her.
I needed Vivian Kensington in Cruel Intentions. Vivian Kensington would have lived in the Cruel Intentions world. Like, she's not far from it.
No, not at all. It fits. Just Selma Blair is smart. She's a smart, like, calculating, powerful lawyeress. Lawyeress, is that the female?
She's a lawyer. Yeah, she's a lawyeress and
lawyeress.
And
she's
much
a lioness.
And she's not like a total villain in this either. When she asks Reese to leave the classroom because she's unprepared, I also felt that was appropriate.
I would have done the same thing. You'll have to align yourself with Holland Taylor. What are you going to do? Like, go against her?
What are you going to do?
No.
You're unprepared.
Yeah,
but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, we're definitely getting ahead of ourselves. Today's movie, Legally Blonde from 2001. I will go ahead and read our very short synopsis.
Please.
I think that even if you haven't seen it, as I hadn't, you know this movie, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
You would have gotten whatever information is about to come from the poster.
The poster. Also, the musical, which I haven't
didn't see it.
Actually, yeah, I haven't seen the full musical, but I know all the songs. Like, I've listened to it cover to cover a couple hundred times in 2007.
Okay. Interesting.
Oh my God, you guys. You don't know the songs?
Nope. No? Why don't you just read the synopsis?
Stephen did not like that guy. Okay.
No.
Legally Blonde. Elle Woods, Reese Witherspoon, is a fashionable sorority queen when she is dumped by her boyfriend, Warner. She decides to follow him all the way to Harvard Law School. While she's there, she figures out that there's more to life than just her looks. Not penned by Stephen. It would have more finesse.
No, but that gets us going.
It completely gets us
going. In terms
of
the plot.
That's exactly what happens.
But luckily, the movie begins, and I love when they do this in movies, where they shoot you out of a cannon with Perfect Day.
Perfect Day. Yes. This is the opening of my dreams.
It's so good. And what I love about this movie is that it combines some of the other techniques that we've seen, which is, number one, a really fun opening song. Mm-hmm. And instead of doing a slideshow presentation to let you know everything you need to know about it, we get a little walkthrough of the sorority house. And in that tour, we really get to know who Elle is.
Oh, do we?
As a character. Or so we think. I think what the movie wants you to do is to start to form some opinions about the character that the movie is going to
breakdown. Yeah.
Breakdown.
For sure.
As the movie goes on.
Yeah, this is the best opening I could have ever hoped for. Really, I love the way you said shot out of a cannon, because this is establishing the energy of this movie from the jump, from the get. It is such comedic energy, and that sorority house is so crowded. I was fearful for my life.
It was so crowded, and
scary.
There was so much activity going on.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I don't know. I feel like when in college, I couldn't imagine being that busy with activity like that.
What did she say? Where's my activities calendar?
Oh, yeah. Like, to have all of that stuff going on in your home seemed overwhelming.
No, yeah, when I'm home, that's my sanctuary. I want to shut the door and I want to be alone. There are too many energies and personalities there. But, they have a job to do, and the job is to show us where we are. So we're on like a busy campus. There's like a crowd of boys. We're behind Elle Woods, which I do love. I love like a late character reveal, don't you? So she's like applying makeup, but we don't see her face yet. She's dipping some clear nail polish and painting a really bubbly early 2000s manicure. We find out she's homecoming queen, and she's got the paddle that says sorority president or whatever, right?
Right.
So really painting the world.
We see the blonde hair dye.
Oh, do we?
Which is weird, because I think she's a natural. I don't know. Is Reese Witherspoon blonde?
I thought so. But yeah, you do see the Clairol. So maybe she's doing like a brightening treatment. Who knows? Maybe just a tone. Got it. Probably a toner.
Good. Probably. Okay.
Let's give her the benefit of the doubt. It's a toner.
All right. So the reason that it's a perfect day is because we find out that she is going to be proposed to.
Yes.
At dinner that night.
Uh-huh.
So that's what's going to make a perfect day.
Yep. And
it fits. But before she goes to dinner, I love this. She goes with these two sorority sisters. I don't know their names.
Unnamed.
To go shopping for the perfect dress for the perfect day.
Yes.
And this is a great scene because we finally see a little bit of her analytical skills as she shuts down a rude salesperson.
I love
in the store.
This scene.
Yeah. Wait, do you have the quote for it?
I don't have the exact quote. They do it in the musical too, and she's like trying on outfits, and the salesgirl's like, "Oh, I love a dumb blonde," and she's like about to go upsell her. She's like, "I love a dumb blonde with daddy's credit card," is what she says. Daddy's plastic. And then she rips the tag off, and she's like about to go sell Elle Woods on a dress from last season. And what does Reese say? She's like, "Oh, is this like blah, blah, blah rayon with a half loop stitch? Well, you can't use a half loop stitch on rayon. It'll pucker the fabric." And you didn't just get this in because I saw it in last May's Vogue. I'm not that
wonderful.
Blonde. It is wonderful. Worth noting, they do it in the musical, and it's perfect.
Okay, got it.
It's perfect.
So we're like, maybe there's something more to this girl, because
that's what they want you to think.
That's what they want you to think. So she goes home and she puts on a red dress that looks somewhat like the one that she shot down in the store.
I was a little confused. I was like,
it looked very similar. And she goes to dinner with Warner.
Ugh.
And
Warner, who looks 30.
He looked really old.
He looked so old. At minimum 27. Yeah,
way too old for both seniors in college.
Yeah, undergrad seniors.
And they go to this really nice restaurant. Red tablecloth, small table. And
teeny tiny.
She thinks he's going to propose, but he just breaks up with her. And I just found it so confusing.
His breakup?
Why he would take her to that restaurant.
To break up with her.
Right.
I know.
You don't take someone to a fancy restaurant to break up with them.
I know. He probably thought it was like the right thing to do. We can chalk it up to movie structure, you know? Gotta get the exposition out. She's gotta be dumped, right?
Well, she did have to be dumped. It just seemed so mean. And he says he's looking for a Jackie to marry, not a Marilyn.
Oh, I know.
And
I love that line.
And I felt bad.
You're supposed to feel bad. You're supposed to align yourself
with
Elle. No, I'm so.
But I did like how she refused to get in the car, and that the only reason that she got in the car was to protect her shoes, which I loved.
I want to like compliment the writing. I think this is one of the most brilliant screenplays ever. Not to get heady with it. They're at the restaurant, and what does he say? He's like, my brother is marrying a Vanderbilt or whatever, right? And what does she say? Oh my God, I wrote the quote down. She goes,
I grew up in Bel Air, Warner.
Because I'm not a Vanderbilt, suddenly I'm white trash. I grew up in Bel Air, Warner, across the street from Aaron Spelling. I think most people would agree that's a lot better than some stinky old Vanderbilt. No, it seems perfect for dialogue. And I love her cry breakdown. It is so funny. I was cackling. The whole restaurant is like eyes on her, and she's just having a full breakdown.
Because everyone in the restaurant is like 50 years old.
No, I know. It's
not a young, hot restaurant. These were all old people next to the Kula campus.
Yeah, Kula. Dead. They were all like Warner's age. He's like 40.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Warner. Yeah, he's in his mid 40s.
Oh my God! Wait, and the names in this movie: Chutney. Oh my God!
I did love the restaurant breakdown. I like a public freak out like that. I liked her interior breakdown in her bedroom eating chocolate.
Yeah, and she chucks the chocolate at the TV.
Her two friends, I don't know their names. They come in,
won't look it up.
And they give her some sort of beverage. I guess it's either a really big soda or a juice. And
they looked like juice cups.
Yeah.
Like they went to the local Jamba, but it was like no name brand, you know?
No name brand. And Elle decides, she sees something about Harvard Law. How does she's going through like the newspaper or something, and she sees that Warner's brother is engaged to a woman from law school, right? Or something. Yeah. And she's like, that's the kind of girl. That's the kind of girl that Warner wants. So hence kicking the plot in motion, kicking off the idea that she's going to get into Harvard Law. And she has to immediately start studying for the LSAT, but not until she has a meeting with her guidance counselor.
Who asked her if she has any alternates.
She's like, no,
I'm going to Harvard.
Harvard's not going to be impressed that you got an A in the history of polka dots.
Well,
they were
very impressed by her. I love this movie because I think that a very easy trap would be to fall into the idea of just play her dumb and make her look stupid. And it's like she's actually very smart. And she does have a 4.0 at, what is it, Kula?
Yeah, she has a 4.0, but she also, and this is why I really love the show Emily in Paris, is that she rolls with the punches so easily. It's a quality that I really wish
I
could have. Like,
I wrote that.
I think
want to be more like Elle Woods.
There is such a thing as like toxic positivity, which I don't think she has, but she definitely rolls with challenges really easily. And that's why I like watching Emily in Paris, because she also has the same quality. And it's something that I wish I could implement in my life. Back.
Somebody being mean is an opportunity for her to just reframe. And she'd be like, I meant to do that. Like the costume party when she shows up as a bunny.
Her confidence is through the roof, but not in a like braggy sense.
No,
she
just knows who she is.
Self-confident.
Yeah, I wrote that down. I want to be more like Elle Woods. She basically makes a decision to get into Harvard, and then we get that amazing essay, the video essay.
The video essay,
which is next level genius as far as I'm concerned. They just
I
take
didn't
us
know
through,
there was a video essay option.
I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that.
Maybe Fordham would have liked it.
Maybe.
I did want to ask you, what's a good score on the LSAT? Do you know?
I think the 180 is the highest score on the LSAT.
She got a
179. I actually didn't take the LSAT.
Oh, you did.
I just took the GRE.
Oh, well, good for you. It seems like, well, I won't, it seems like you found a loophole. Is that fair?
That's right.
Okay. I was like, is this offensive? Yeah. I was like, did you see me second guess myself?
No, it's weird because now some schools take both, but
I would do that. It's like the ACT.
Pretty much everyone takes the LSAT.
The LSAT. Okay, I wanted to know if that was a good score. That's pretty phenom. But yeah, she's like, I'm going to Harvard. It's not going to be difficult. She takes the LSAT, gets a 179, does the video essay, and I just love the little vignettes we get.
Yeah. It did, and I would have, if I was in the sorority house, I would have kept my mouth shut at this point, but I would in private, I would have said to her, just because you got a 179 doesn't mean that you get into Harvard.
And she goes, yes,
you still have to apply. So I felt like I think that some of the girls didn't really understand the application process because they were so happy when she got the 179. And
but she had more to do.
She had more to do. So she's lucky that the video essay worked in her favor.
I know.
But either way, impressive accomplishment.
Yeah. So I also wanted to bring up, oh my God, she's like at her pool with mom and dad in the backyard. Yeah. And this is like such a brilliant mapping scene as far as I'm concerned, because I feel like the traditional version in star vehicles and movies alike is like, you're just gonna throw away your opportunity, and they'll say something like, you were blah 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 scholar, you were top of your class, you were this, you're gonna throw it all away to go, I don't know, travel. And they map the drama of that scene. And what does her mom say? She goes, you were runner up in the Miss Hawaiian Tropic pageant. Do you really want to give that up? And I just love the play on those opposites.
Can't throw that all away. You're right.
Crying.
Normally what we would have expected is that maybe she would have gotten into Harvard Law and the guy would have not, and then she's going to give up Harvard to go chase the guy.
Yeah, like different tone, different movie, obviously, like not such a big broad comedy, but they're just like taking the expectation of that and just flip-flopping it, and I was obsessed.
Yeah. I did like that she had sort of no idea what she was getting herself into, because I think that's the case for most people in law school as well. It's kind of like, I guess we're gonna do this thing. That's how I felt doing it. Yeah. So
very clear when she,
and that comes through when she gets to campus.
Yeah, so she gets in. Surprise, surprise. They do show you the Harvard admissions people being like, well, we've never had a fashion merchandising student before. Like, might as well. And
might as well try it.
They let her in, and she's like at orientation or at like the day one, and she's picking up her packets, and she's like
not before she drives her car onto campus.
In New England.
Did she drive her Porsche all the way across the country?
I thought that. I was like, also she just pulls right up to the desk.
To the dorm.
Just like
literally.
Right up. Bruiser gets out, pours him a little bottle of Evian.
And this is a great scene because there are what looks to be thousands of students jeering and saying mean things to her.
I know.
All around. Mean. And she can't hear any of it. And she pours out the little Evian bottle of water for Bruiser and has the furniture come in. I was so impressed.
I was absolutely impressed.
I would have cried and ran.
I would have been a mess.
If I heard one negative comment about myself when I was trying to move into school.
Yeah, I hear one negative comment today and I'm done. I'm in bed crying.
Literally.
I want to be, more like Elle Woods. Have it roll off my back. She's
Right.
an inspiration, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and worth noting that moving truck was very full. Very full.
Very full for the size of her room.
For the size
sure.
of that dorm. So.
Yeah.
Would have brought a little less to make the reality work. But maybe she got a storage unit. Who knows?
Maybe. So you're right, though. She goes to pick up her materials.
Oh, yeah, this is my favorite. This is one of my favorite parts of the whole lines of the whole movie. What is it? She's leafing through it, and she's like, "Where is my events calendar?" She goes, "Oh, you forgot my events calendar." And like the guy giving it to her is like, "What?" And what did she say? I wrote it down. Oh, social events. You know, mixers, formals, clam bakes, trips to the Cape. And then he suggests she talked to the cruise director on the Lido deck.
It is, again, this is another moment that would have just buckled me at my knees if someone would have said that to me. But again, she is
rolls
makes
off
no makes no never mind to her.
Makes no never mind. Okay, wait. So I've told you that's my mom's catchphrase, right?
Yeah.
They say it in The Mummy. It's an actual phrase. He goes, "Oh, it makes no never mind to you." I think Brendan Fraser says it to
Right.
To
Really?
Yeah.
Rachel
Weisz. Watch on my YouTube channel if you want to see it.
Oh. Okay, noted.
Plug.
Well, she moves in, she meets some of the other people there, and again, she doesn't seem stressed at all that these people appear to be geniuses and yet they're socially inept. So at least she has that going for her.
I know. Good for her. Good for her. You can't wait to get to class number 1.
The class scenes were very interesting, but before she gets to class and she puts on her serious lawyer outfit, she does run into Warner in the hallway.
Oh,
and
yes.
He just sees her for the first time and he's like shocked to see her. And what was funny about this moment is that law school classes are pretty small. Like you would be able to see that Elle was there.
Who's there.
Yeah. Or the fact that he didn't know that she was there until this very moment was shocking. But
made for an excellent scene.
Made for a better movie scene. Because
she clocks him. She kind of like props herself up, you know, fixes her posture, and then walks past him. And he's like, Elle? What are you doing here? She's like, oh, I go here. You got into Harvard Law? What, like it's hard?
Exactly. That's the line.
Did you apply to Harvard Law?
No, I only applied to schools that took the GRE.
Oh, okay. Because
only schools in New York City.
Experiment. I would just like try. Like, why not?
Just to try.
Yeah, you know, you're like a reach school. I'm not saying Harvard's a reach for you. I'm saying.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, then you have to pay the application fee. It's a whole to do.
You're right. Yeah.
Now, she does go to her first class with no books, no computer, and sits in the front row, which I would never do. First of all, I just get claustrophobic in those rooms, and I like to sit in the back.
Yeah, the room felt a little tiny.
Yeah, it felt a little tiny, and what is true is that the place you sit on the first day, they do actually pass around a seating chart, and that is your seat for the whole semester.
That's real?
Yeah, that's real.
Oh my God. And you have to write your name down and you have to stay there?
Yeah, they do pass around a sheet like that, and you have to write your name down.
You heard it here first. Wow.
Right. So that's a
amazing.
Thing. Yeah. So you try to get to class first on the first day of semester so that you can get the seat that you want.
Oh, good pro tip. Wow. They should pay us for this podcast.
Right. And I've never had or seen a professor say that they only call on the front row, but at least she was up front with where she was going to call. And
I like that little warning.
I did not think that Holland Taylor was being overly mean. She was simply asking questions about the homework assignment that was due the first day. Yes. And here I can't defend Elle. I think she's indefensible.
She's committed the
She
worst
should have
crime
done the
imaginable.
reading.
She hasn't done the reading.
She didn't do the reading, and that's super annoying.
I think that I might have said this on the pod before, so forgive me, but famously, I thought that the syllabus on the first day of college was a suggestion.
Was a suggestion.
I didn't know that it was actually that we were going to follow it.
Right.
Because in high school, we never followed our syllabus ever. Like, we always just threw it out. It was like day one, okay, throw this in the trash.
Yeah, they were more decorative in high school.
Oh, yeah. In high school, it was like a light threat of what was to come. And that was it.
Was also like your high school teacher pretending to be a college professor.
Yeah. Yeah, they wanted...
living out their fantasy of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So
their sick, egomaniacal fantasy of being a college professor.
Right, but they didn't actually follow it.
Never.
So you're right. It is shocking when you get to college and you realize that the syllabus is pretty much set in stone.
It is set in stone.
And if anything, they'll just add more work to it.
I mean, I see we're on opposite teams here. Like, I felt for Elle. I was like I just felt bad for her because I did that on the first day of class. Our joint professor, he said, pull out the reading, and I was like, what reading? Shakespeare in the Bush. Never read it.
If this is not undergraduate education, she's been through this before.
I know.
I have no sympathy.
No excuses. Because at this rate, yeah, you're right. She's had 4 years of an undergrad where she should have known.
She should have known better.
Okay.
And
you're right.
What's her name?
Ice Queen, frigid bitch.
Selma Blair.
Selma Blair
is given the option to either let Elle stay in class or kick her out, and she kicks her out.
Yeah. And
but she didn't really have a choice.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you kind of have to align yourself with the professor. Like, what am I supposed to say? No. Then I would get
She
kicked
seemed
out.
like she was fishing for an answer, a specific answer.
Yeah. And very nice surprise, the professor was Holland Taylor, and I didn't know that she was in this movie at all.
It is a nice surprise. Did you watch The Chair?
No. Is she in that?
Oh, she's in The Chair. She's a professor in that too.
She makes a great professor.
She makes a great professor.
Mm-hmm. I believe her.
I liked all of her
acting training. She just makes a great professor.
Yeah, I liked all of her teaching techniques. I liked when she wrapped her pencil on a student's head.
I loved that moment. I thought that could have been an improv. I thought Holland Taylor could have totally made that up on the spot and just whacked him in the head.
It worked. It worked for the scene.
You hear a little... it was like a...
Right. It conveyed everything we needed to know about her character in one movement.
That was wonderful.
Yeah, it was really wonderful. And so Elle has to leave. She's been booted from class.
Yeah, kicked out.
And she meets Luke Wilson outside. Mm-hmm. And what I always forget about his character is that he is a teaching assistant? Or is he?
Yeah, he's like a TA.
He's not a student, right?
No, I at this point in the movie, you don't know what he is. And you're like, that man's 30.
Right, because it's not until that her other professor selects the students for like an emergency internship that he reveals
emergency
he reveals his identity as somebody who works for Victor Garber's firm or something.
Yeah, Callahan.
It just felt every time I watch the movie, I always just feel like that piece feels weird.
Yeah, because
he's like lurking around on campus, but he's not a professor. He's not a student. He just works for Victor Garber. It's almost like he's sussing out the students.
At that point in the movie, they are kind of painting him to be the new love interest, is how I see it. Oh, for sure. Because she's kind of a little struck by him, and he's nice. He's like very nice and encouraging.
We love nice. For women.
I do. Especially if we're gonna do some early 2000s girl on girl crime, which is aplenty in the beginning, with Selma and Reese. But yeah, he is kind of like lurking, and at this point in the movie, you're kind of led to believe that he's a peer. Like, he's a student. So you're like, okay, whatever.
Every time I watch the movie, I think he is because in this scene, she says to him, "Hey, are you a 3L or a 2L?" And before he can answer,
Oh, Warner comes through.
walks in, so he never answers it.
Got it. Yeah.
So I guess that's supposed to be our hint that he might not be a student. But I felt like a weird thing to hold from us. I don't know.
It's like, why? Just tell us now.
It's like, why? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because like if you're gonna hold something for a reveal, you want to make it good, and it's like that reveal is just like, okay,
right? Yeah, I guess it just.
What?
Go ahead.
No, you.
Well, I'm just trying to think
how
it would.
It doesn't bother me much.
That's the other thing, is that I just don't know if it changes anything if we would have known.
No, it doesn't change a thing.
Maybe not.
Who cares?
Anyway.
I think the best part about his character is that like he's supposed to be a little older, a little wiser, and kind of been there, done that.
Right.
And she's now has a spirit guide in law school, which I love. He's like, in Callahan's class, he likes really outspoken people. You're going to want to do this. In this class, you're going to want to be really prepared. Don't sit in the front row here. Like, he's her spirit guide. And it's nice,
Oh imagine.
What?
Imagine. And this might.
I'm ready.
I want to word this correctly.
Okay.
So it doesn't sound like I'm being.
I'll give you a minute.
Okay. Imagine no one else could see him. He's a guardian angel. Right? Like she only
magical realism.
Like he's a former student who tragically
died. He's a ghost.
Is no longer with us.
I know.
And he's her little guardian angel.
Wow.
Because it's almost like he disappears when Warner comes to the scene. And he quite literally is her guardian angel in the courtroom.
Wow. Oh my God. I just got chills, like the sixth sense.
Interesting,
like only she can see him.
Only she can see him.
And the reveal doesn't come till the end of the movie. That he wasn't actually there.
It's like she waves to him at the graduation and we see him. And then we see like Selma Blair look over and there's no one in the seat.
No one there. It says
like
reserved for Elle Wood's boyfriend. Empty.
Yeah. That would be an amazing twist.
I rewrite this script and only change that one element.
Yeah, I would totally be interested to see. Okay, I'm gonna think about that as we go through the rest of it and see how it changes the movie.
I'm gonna need you to hold on to that one for me.
Okay, fascinating. So
obsessed. Okay,
Warner comes up. He interrupts the flow of the convo, and we re-meet Vivian Kensington. Mm-hmm. Probably the best name ever I've ever heard in my entire life.
Kensington. No, I like Chutney. Sorry. Chutney's my favorite name I've ever heard.
And she reveals, which actually I found to be shocking, that they are engaged, because this has been max 6 months since Reese and Warner broke up.
Exactly.
And what I did like about this, though, is, and this kind of bridges us to the next scene, but when Reese is so upset and she goes to get her nails done and Jennifer Coolidge is like kind of prodding her to say mean things about Selma Blair, like Reese, it doesn't devolve to her making fun of her appearance.
I know.
Because she literally says to her, she's like, I can't say anything bad about her. Like she's
not
so
totally
like she's
unfortunate
pretty
looking.
Yeah. She just needs a little mascara.
Yeah.
I liked that because it could have been, and you would have been with her if she would have totally destroyed her.
Yeah.
Which would be really hard to do because she is stunning in the movie.
Yeah,
it's not
beautiful.
They're not making her
gorgeous. They're
not trying to draw like a visual distinction, I think, between the two of them, except for the fact that she has like brunette hair or darker hair.
Yeah.
So I did appreciate that the movie didn't devolve into a like physically tearing her apart for being ugly, because she's not.
Yeah, this movie, it's part of why for me it totally holds up, and I think that Hollywood needed to take more notes at this time. Like they needed more of this. They're gonna trick you into that it's like girl on girl crime. With that fake out in the beginning where Selma does send her out of class. But it's like, you're right. Like, they don't go for any of the low blows. And, like, if anything...
They don't.
She doesn't comment on her looks as much. She goes, if I was going to be more of a frigid bitch, I wouldn't try to dress so on the nose. Yeah, it's like a personality thing. instead.
I think that what I liked about Selma Blair's character in the movie was that a lot of her actions were not unbelievable. In the sense that
they were great.
There are people who would have been annoyed at Reese Witherspoon's behavior in class. Mm-hmm. If you were newly engaged, you probably would be a little frosty towards the ex. So her actions never rose beyond something that you would expect for someone in her position to do. And I found that really refreshing, especially the scene where, so like a big thing in law school are these like study groups and getting into your study groups. Yeah. So I actually found Warner's desire to have Elle in their study group inappropriate. I thought that was so inappropriate and disrespectful to Selma Blair, who was sitting right there.
You're engaged,
and
bro.
I thought that she actually was. I appreciated that she was very upfront with her and said, "We're full. No, thank you." I thought that was very refreshing.
Yeah, she's doing a little bit of movie posturing, like just because it is a movie. So she is like being like Warner, and she's like touching him on the shoulder. And the movie wants to bait and switch you. So they want you to be like, look at this bitch, Selma Blair, like stealing Reese's man. But it's her like older you're right, boyfriend. None of her behavior is out of the realm of possibility. It's inappropriate. They are engaged. Like
they're engaged. And why would you want the person who the first day of class shows up unprepared to be in your study group?
Yeah. Bad first impression.
That's right. I brought sustenance, ladies, but it was like
and it's a muffin. Yeah. That's how they were like trying to tell us that she's not an idiot too. She's using words like sustenance, you know?
Right. Yeah. Big word.
Big word.
Big Scrabble points. So I guess that, and every time I rewatch the movie, I think I find Selma Blair's character more and more endearing. And
it's nice to know where she ends up. You know?
The divide between the two of them. Yeah. And we'll get to that at the end. And I think that the ending and where their relationship ends is something that we've expressed a desire for in so many of these other movies.
Yeah.
So
agree.
It's so refreshing to see, but
yeah. And okay, I watched this movie for YouTube, so you can watch the movie straight up bait and switch me. It's like you do go from like this frigid bitch to no. And remember how we always talk about how nothing ever sticks to the men? Like in these early 2000s star vehicles, Cruel Intentions. Sebastian gets out pretty much scot-free, but we're going to ruin Sarah Michelle Gellar's life. I started seeing them build that. Like I started seeing them build towards Warner's totally innocent in this little triangle, and he wants her in the study group. Look at how nice he is and blah, blah, blah. And it was totally going to be a movie where it was going to be cat fight. And then it wasn't.
I agree with you that this is one of those movies where they do stick things to the guy.
Finally.
Not in the first half. You're right. Not in the first half.
Not in the first half. They want to M. Night Shyamalan.
But it does do the rare deed of showing you what a scumbag he is.
Yes.
And they really put a final nail in his coffin in the post-credit notes that they put on the screen. Not post-credit, sorry. In the final scene where they do like the text showing where everybody is. Yeah,
because I was like, wait, did I miss a post-credit scene? Did I miss a Marvel reveal? Did I miss Harry Styles?
That's right. So
Harry Styles is like 4 at the time of this movie.
After she gets the news that he's engaged, she takes to the Porsche and almost causes a 5-car pileup. And gets her nails done with Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah. Jennifer Coolidge, man. She's funny. She's a great character. I think that I needed more time with her in this movie to flesh her out because sometimes I'm confused about what's going on in her brain. Like, what are you thinking about, girl?
Well, I think to your point.
It was very funny, though.
Part of the reason why she is so good in something like The White Lotus that is that
have to see.
It gives her so much time for you to flesh out her character and like her motivations.
Mm-hmm.
In this movie, we don't spend a tremendous amount of time with her, and a lot of her motivations are driven by being in a relationship with a guy. So I think that it doesn't give her as much room to play around.
I wanted to see her gallop, let's just say.
But every moment that she's on screen
is the best.
So
she goes, steal him back. That's the scene.
Steal that.
Steal him back. I can't do a Jen Coolidge. I wish I could.
Right. I think she does, but she does ask a question here that sets up the demise of Warner, where she does ask Reese, like, is he really worth it? Is it going to be worth all the trouble?
Mm-hmm.
And Reese says yes, but it does lay a little nugget in our brains that she might be onto something here. Because as she's hearing the story, she's thinking this isn't going to be worth it.
Listen to Paulette. She is our voice of reason.
Listen to Paulette. And later that night, Reese is in her dorm room and she starts to hear about a potential party as Vivian is walking the halls.
Yes.
And Reese pokes her head out and snags an invitation.
I love parties.
I love parties. It's a costume party. You probably wouldn't like it. I love costume
parties. I knew it immediately. I was like, this is not going to be a costume party, but I'm here for it.
It was so, I mean, again, this really speaks to her confidence, but to walk down the street and to see no one else in costume and to still march into the party and then be faced with the facts that it is indeed not a costume party.
Faced with the facts.
I'm
a big old chicken, okay? Like, I got invited to a costume party this year, and I prepared 2 costumes. One that was like a real costume, right? Like
you chose not to go?
Imagine. That's the moral of the story. Just don't go. No, I bought 2 costumes. One was like a full costume, right? The other one was one that like it consisted of real clothes, like jeans and a shirt. And to make it a costume, you just slap on a pair of sunglasses. And it was like the cowardly route, because it was like, if no one else is dressed up at this party, I can just take off these sunglasses and I look like I'm wearing jeans and a t-shirt.
Okay.
So which one did I go with? Option A, real costume. Option B, jeans and t-shirt. I went with B. I went with the cowardly option, so that if no one went hard on the costumes, I could just take off my 70s glasses.
And pretend like you would have never worn a costume.
Oh yeah, no, this is just my normal clothes. I'm such a
baby. Maybe you could learn something from Elle, because she shows up.
I learned a lot.
She shows up and marches through the party. She goes in and has multiple conversations, still wearing
bunny ears,
the costume. I would have to the party where, and this was small, but when Vivian was talking to the other person in the hallway, before she gets to Elle, she goes, "Yeah, bring your own Merlot." But
she does say that, and that's what makes Reese go like, "Oh my god, wait, this place parties!" Like she comes out of her room.
She has her own Merlot, but Elle confronts her in a very classy way. She's very respectful and shuts her down real quick. And then she has a conversation with Warner. And this is again where you start to see that Warner's kind of the worst, because while Vivian's not in the room, he starts to flirt with Elle. And she's like, "Are you having a good time?" And he's like, "I wasn't, but now I am." Yeah. And it was like, it was so gross.
I know. I was getting really nervous. I was like, oh no, another early 2000s romp where we're just going to let him off the hook.
Right. And
no, this is a feminist feature written by 2 women.
What I loved about the conversation with Warner, though, is that she's completely forgot that she's wearing a costume, and they're talking about school. She's saying how busy she is, and then she's like, I can't even imagine doing all this plus Callahan's internship next year. And
he's like,
and
wait,
Warner's like,
what?
oh baby, you know you're not gonna get it. And she's like, well, I am. And it cuts to my favorite musical drop of the movie, Watch Me Shine. And she...
Nice. Yes.
It was so good. When she gets that computer, that clamshell computer.
Yes, she's the only one with the orange laptop, right?
And again, Owen Wilson, or not Owen, which one is it? Luke Wilson? Luke Wilson is behind her weird in the campus bookstore at 11 p.m. And
she's in costume still.
This is a great movie montage of her taking law school seriously.
Yes. I miss montages. I don't feel like we've witnessed too many of them, but when we do see them, I'm giddy. I love a montage.
It was great because it just drove the plot forward so quickly.
I love that. Yeah, we saved time. Like now all of a sudden she's like shaping up. I'm so excited.
That's right.
I'm trying to think if I had anything else. Oh yeah, so he is being the worst, and I was truly shocked at the party when he's like, you're not going to get it. I was like, that is some evil shit.
So bad.
I couldn't believe he said that to her. But yeah, so then we get the montage, and this is the first point in the movie where I go, is this fall in New England? Because it looks kind of warm.
The seasons,
like California.
we don't experience a full 4 seasons moment in Boston. It just seems like light fall.
Yeah. Indian
now
summer.
when she goes with Paulette to get her dog back, they are wearing and Elle pretends to be a lawyer for the first time. They are wearing jackets, but not what I would expect for New England.
Yeah, just because we are East Coasters, I'm like, where's that cold breath? You know, show me that you're trembling.
Right.
Because you are. You should be.
You should be very cold. So we start to see Elle get her confidence. She successfully negotiates getting Paulette's dog back. And
so cute.
And Callahan, Victor Garber, in class one day asks her like a throwaway question that she gets the correct answer to. And after class, he's like, whoa, so impressed with you.
Yeah. Do you have a resume?
Do you have a resume?
Handsome.
So she gives her or gives him
the resume.
Her pink scented resume.
Goes, it's pink. She's like, yeah, I know. And scented. I did want to know what it smelled like. I was like waiting for like, is this Shanelle? Is this? Do you know what I mean? I was waiting.
Probably if or like maybe bubblegum, something like that.
Yeah, I was waiting. Or I don't know if you know this, but like classic of the time, Love Spell from Victoria's Secret. I was just waiting for like a name drop.
Something like that.
I was totally waiting.
So they've communicated to us that Elle is now serious in the running, and we get another fabulous scene at the salon where Reese teaches Paulette how to do the bend and snap.
It's yes.
Pretty important. And it gives us a wonderful dance montage where everyone in the salon gets into it. Reese is giving feedback.
Wishes they had a bend and snap.
Well, there was a musical number in that movie. It was just a little bit more inappropriate.
Just slightly more inappropriate.
So this was refreshing and felt appropriate. I feel like anyone at any age could watch this movie.
I agree. I love the bend and snap. It's iconic. It feels never been done before. I'm like, who comes up with that? Who comes up with that? It's not even particularly sexy. Is it?
That's right.
I don't think so.
No.
That weird ending motion with the hands. I don't really get it.
It's very theatrical, so I think it would appeal to a very narrow corner of the market. But
there's a whole musical number devoted to it in the musical called Bend and Snap.
I'm sure there is. And
Bend and Snap. Yeah, so the bend and snap comes right after Callahan has assembled his troops.
Oh, did I skip over that?
I mean, we're never concerned with order, but I did write in my notes that we see Ali Larder, and I love her so much from Heroes. Right. So I'm only just bringing it up to say this is so ridiculous, but it's a comedic premise, so I'm down. He assembles a crew of first-year law students for this
first semester to handle the murder trial. They don't even know
definitions of things. They don't even know what a tort is.
They don't know what the different vocabulary means, and
no clue.
It's funny because there are no other quote unquote like adults in the room. It's just
children
him and 4 students.
Yes.
Luckily we know all of them.
Yeah, we know them all by name.
Luke Wilson, who has been revealed as not a ghost, but somebody who works for Victor Garber, I guess, at his firm. So they're all going to work together to represent Ali Larder. You're right that she was in Heroes, and I don't know her from anything else. Where has her career gone?
She kind of just like fell off, or she's in stuff that I'm not currently watching. Maybe she's definitely still working, but I used to love her in Heroes. I don't know why. She just
I remember loving the first season.
Save the cheerleaders, save the world.
Oh.
Did you just get chills? I did.
Yeah. Hayden Panettiere, another one who...
Hayden. We should do a Hayden unit. I don't know if I would necessarily consider her a star, but she could. Does. She's let's just say she has the repertoire.
Oh, for sure.
Like she's got the films.
I'd have to really think what movies Hayden Panettiere has been in.
Well, I will say I would want to do a Kate Hudson unit, and then we could do Raising Helen, and then Hayden Panettiere's in Raising Helen.
Okay, noted. So
I drive this podcast now.
Okay. So Ali Larder is accused of murder, and right off the bat, Reese is like, she didn't do it. She does exercise videos, and exercising gives you endorphins. Happy people don't murder.
Don't murder their husbands. I was like, well, that's reductive, but also true.
I think. Down. Well, what was interesting about this scene is that no one else in the room, including the person that was hired, Victor Garber, had no idea who this woman was. They didn't do any research as to who she was. And they were all looking at her like she was an idiot because she knew who the client was.
I know. It's like she's revealing just the most baseline general...
That's Google. That's not even flexing her muscles. That's just Google information.
Well, okay. At this point, do we even have Ask Jeeves? There's no social media. I don't know. They're lawyers, okay? I'm not excusing their behavior. They need to have done her career research at least. What she do? A
little bit of research. Right.
Just
what do you do? Who are you?
And because Elle's telling them very basic information.
That's what I'm saying. She's not revealing anything classified info that you would have to know where to get. Like, this is baseline. Yeah. And we learn that they have all the information they need for the case. They just don't have her alibi. And which is just fun. It's just a funny thing. It's just to have all the other information for the murder case. Everything but an alibi.
See, I thought that was super on the nose because I was like, she's unaccounted for like what they're saying is like a half hour, right?
Right.
And I'm just like, I was sitting on the like what? I'm like, what could her alibi be? I'm like, I was in the house. I was sitting down. Like what?
But I agree with you that is why I loved it because it's an entry point for everyone. Like you could be a child and watch that and still understand what the problem is.
Yeah.
They didn't try to overwhelm you.
Yeah. There's not jargon. An overwhelming amount of like law jargon either. And
even though we know she's comfortable with it.
She's very comfortable with it. I object.
I object.
I love that Yeah, this is law through the eyes of someone like Elle Woods, which is just us. It's the audience.
We're
Malum
Elle.
prohibitum. I'm like, what's that? She doesn't know either. She's no clue.
I don't think I've ever heard that phrase.
I pick the other one because I'm not afraid of a challenge.
Challenge. Although I didn't mind her first answer either.
Yeah, no big deal.
Her first answer was like neither. I prefer an innocent guy.
I thought that I scream laughed at that point. I was like, that is so funny and very like lawyery. Like that's a lawyer answer.
That's what I'm saying. I wish he would have given that answer a little bit more respect because
it's a good answer.
Well, because when he works with Ali Larder, the only thing that he basically is refusing to work with her because he believes that she's guilty.
I was shocked by that.
He only wants to work with her if she's innocent, which is exactly what Elle Woods says, and he looks at her like she's deranged.
She's crazy. I said that. I couldn't
That's
believe
exactly
it.
what he does.
I was like, they're treating her like guilty until proven innocent. They're like, this bitch is guilty. She's covered in her husband's blood.
Right. And
I was like, what is going on here?
So they find out that, I guess, I forget who the person is that she has to go to the spa to talk to.
Oh yeah, because she's like, where's the spa? And
right.
the ex-wife of the murdered guy. Chutney's mother.
Right.
Linda Cardellini's mom.
So she goes to the spa with Luke Wilson, and they're bonding a little bit in the process, and I actually don't remember what happens in that scene.
I could have checked out there. I was just like, okay, we get it.
I forget the information that she gets there. I don't remember.
She's talking about, oh my God, you're right, because there is a bit of a reveal there. Well, okay, did Elle already take it upon herself to go get the alibi from Ali Larder before the spa
I think
scene?
that she learns in the spa something that she reveals something about the pool boy, about her having a relationship with the pool boy. That's what the lady says at the spa. Because she's like, Ali Larder was having a relationship with the pool boy. She saw them kissing. That's what she says. And she says that must be the reason why she killed her husband, because she was having an affair and wanted to swap him in and swap him out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, wait, I'm skimming the movie right now, and I just wanted to... we don't care about the order. Never mind.
No.
She has the alibi already, which is, again, Reese with Elle Woods doing the bare minimum of work, which is like finding out about her career and also actually getting the alibi from her client.
The alibi and then refusing to tell anyone.
And then like additionally having the trust of the client. Ali Larder gives her full trust to Elle.
And this was a great scene too, because we see Selma Blair come to her dorm room and she congratulates her on getting the alibi. And she also says, I respect you for not sharing the alibi.
Yes.
That means that you're trustworthy. And this is definitely a scene that didn't need to be in the movie to have the movie work.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad that they included it to help us see their relationship start to form.
I totally agree with you. This is the point in my notes where I wrote Selma, Blair, Hart, much better fit. I was like, I'm so happy. It's a better fit for her as an actress because she's smart. And I love that they come together. It's the best. It's truly the best.
And so the trial is going on, and it's part of, I did get lost in the sauce a little bit with some of the trial information here in terms of the flow. But the murder trial starts and things are not going well, because Ali Larder's defense is that she was getting plastic surgery for herself. Liposuction. And she can't reveal that because that would crush her career as a personal trainer or physical fitness instructor. So Elle needs to come up with a different way.
And I love celebrity
And
fitness instructors. That's my bread and butter.
right.
So it would ruin her. She can't. She can't reveal.
She can't. So while the murder trial is going on, one night, and this is after Selma and her have bonded. Yeah. Selma Blair is walking out of the office with a huge pile of books, and they're so friendly. And she's like, "Oh, he needs you in there." And Reese is like, "Why? Does he need another coffee?" And Selma Blair's like, "No, maybe a donut." And
oh yeah, men are so helpless. This was
yeah.
I was like, oh God.
And they're friends, and they're laughing and smiling. And as the audience, we're just so happy. We're so happy that they're friends. And what could go wrong in the office? And she goes in the office.
I knew it.
And he pulls an inappropriate move on her.
Yeah.
And Selma Blair sees, and she
immediately gets the wrong idea. Makes a judgment.
Immediately gets the wrong idea. And I guess that we're supposed to look at Selma Blair and being like, oh, so judgmental. But I guess based on what she saw, what are you supposed to think?
I know. It's pretty classic movie structure. I saw it coming a mile away. There was like neon signs on it. It was like, hey, he needs you in there. I was like, I know exactly what's going to happen when she gets in there. And I've never seen this movie before. And right. I also knew that they were going to have Selma Blair only see that one little piece. And then she was going to turn around right away and not see the part where Elle Woods is like, you know, my professor's a scumbag and leave. And I was like, classic. But movies are conflict, right? I'm in screenwriting 101 right now, so everyone, you need to watch out.
And
watch out for me.
It is something that I'm glad that they tackle seriously, I guess, but it felt ahead of its time.
Definitely,
in terms of the topic, subject matter. And it definitely breaks her down. And I loved that in her kind of dark hole here, Holland Taylor helps pick her back up at the hair salon.
I loved that touch. Right when you least expect it.
Yeah. She's there to be like, you are not the person that I pegged you for if you are going to quit. And
that's where the movie really does become girl power, because it's like, not only do we have the young women, Vivian and Elle, we've got Holland Taylor, the professor.
Holland Taylor, who really pushes her to get back into it. Ali Larder finds out about the inappropriate encounter and fires Victor Garber in the courtroom.
God. And the cool part about Ali Larder's character is she is sowing doubt the whole movie. She's like, I don't really trust Callahan. Like, there's something about him. I don't really trust him. I mean, and she not to mention the fact that he thinks she's guilty. Like, that helps too.
Right, but you're right though. Like, in their very first meeting where she's talking to Al, she basically says like, there's something creepy about him.
Yeah,
he's not.
He's just
I don't like him.
He's off.
Yeah,
and I'm down.
And like Victor Garber refuses to leave the chair, and he's just standing there. He's like, I won't permit this. Yeah. And then Luke Wilson steps in and kicks him out.
I love that. Yeah, so Elle decides, like, I'm going to take over this case. And there's apparently some sort of rule that says a first-year law student can be your lawyer if you want.
Be your lawyer under supervision of someone else. And
Luke Wilson steps up. He's like, I will supervise. And
I will supervise.
Elle gets her day in court.
Elle gets her day in court, but not before she has a little sip of water. But before she can get her sip of water, the pool boy steps in and cuts her in line. And as Elle is tapping her feet in disappointment,
I love this.
He turns around and says, don't you tap your last season Prada loafers at me.
And I went.
She's like,
I went immediately. He's gay. I was so excited.
And she's like, they're not last season. And
I knew right away what they were painting, and I love it. I kind of love formula, and I kind of love when I can see it coming. And I knew exactly what was coming. I'm not saying I'm smart. I'm saying this movie's well written. I'm not a genius.
Obviously it's a caricature, but it's so funny. Like, because she walks in, she goes, it I love when movies like this, because they have to have a simple solution that the audience will understand. And so she goes back to the table. She's like, he's gay. She's like, Warner, what color are my shoes? How would you describe my shoes?
He goes, black.
And he's like, black? She's like, exactly.
Yeah, no one believes her. And
no, except for Luke Wilson.
Yeah, Luke Wilson, who's about to be her honey boy.
Yeah.
her honey. Worth mentioning, she's wearing a phenomenal pink outfit now in her ultimate.
Oh yeah, now she's a super lawyer. She's her
a super lawyer, and she has
wrap
the weird
suit dress.
She has weird kid with her as well, who has like a fun little 5 minutes of fame in this movie. The weird law student kid, but I love this part of the movie. But it also, okay, so we're not at the perm part yet. Okay, so we're questioning gay pool boy.
Right. That was the first thing that they pull.
Yeah.
Because now they've figured out that she wasn't having an affair with this guy, but now they need to pin it on the guy's daughter.
Well, first things first though, Luke Wilson steps over questioning of the pool boy. And he hits him like rapid fire with like 3 questions. He's like, what were you doing? Where'd you take her on a date? What restaurant? And the pool boy has answer. And then he goes, and your boyfriend's name is? And he goes, Chuck.
Chuck.
And he's like, wait, what? And then he's like, he's not my boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. Chuck stands up in the back. You bitch. Which was so funny.
Love that Chuck came to the courtroom to support his
loved you bitch.
Lover. It was a shocking turn of events, and that was really well done. Along the same point, or in the same day in court, her 2 sorority friends also make their way in. They find their way to front row seats.
Yeah, they literally are the peanut gallery.
Yeah, they're constantly commenting on the events of court, and then you're right. It becomes Elle's turn to cross-examine
Linda Cardellini. Chutney.
And while she's on the stand, she puts it together that she's had a perm and she would never be in the shower immediately after getting a perm.
This was the one point in the movie where I was like, okay, when Elle starts cross-examining Chutney, she doesn't know what's about to come at all, right? Like she has no
that was my understanding.
That she has no idea she's about to come upon this very lucky information, right? So it is kind of like a lucky break, right? Like
I think that's what they're it's in the moment. Because I think that what they're implying is that the person on the stand gives up information, but in anyone else's hands, they wouldn't know what to do with it.
They wouldn't
but you're
have
right,
been
though,
able to find,
that she didn't know going into it that her hair was permed, but
exactly
she did find out that it was and was able to do some information with hair.
Yeah, because in the half hour in question, she's able to trap Chutney into saying, I went in the shower. And Elle...
I can't with the name.
Chutney, I die. And it's my favorite name in the whole movie. And then after she's established, okay, so in this half hour, you got home, you went in the shower, you came out, you saw your dad, and you saw Allie Larder covered in blood. Then she's like, how many, you've your hair permed?
Yeah.
Linda Cardellini is like, I've had 2 years since I was 15. You do the math. And then I love when Al's like, so someone who has had 30-something perms in her lifetime would know you cannot get in the shower. It was so good.
What I loved about this scene is that they treat it as decisive. Like she solved the case. When in reality, you could get a perm and still go into the shower.
Yeah, and
she sort of didn't prove anything, but I did like how when you watch it though, you do immediately go, oh, that's it.
I was
case solved.
Absolutely dead that the judge goes, charges dismissed.
Oh yeah.
Like they don't have to go through the whole rigmarole anymore. Allie Larder's off. Chutney is being arrested on the spot. Case dismissed.
Right. Now, Reese and her team didn't even have to say to the judge, like, we want these charges dropped. The judge on her own decides, drops them on her own. And not only that, takes her into
Takes Chutney into custody immediately. She's like, case dismissed, charges dropped. Everyone's like, yay. It's like, wouldn't you even have to present that information and then allow the jury to deliberate? In theory, you're a lawyer. Come on. You're a law.
Well,
you're a
I think what her side would say is that we disagree about the facts. So the jury needs to decide that, not the judge.
That's what I'm saying. Like, now I'm waiting for the jury to go
deliberate. The rule
in
a trial is that the judge is not supposed to decide issues of fact. That's what the jury is there to do.
That's what the jury is there for. In this movie, no jury. No trial by jury.
No jury.
Judge says
no jury.
Dismissed.
Right. Because the whole point of having a trial is that two sides disagree about the facts. That's what it is.
That's the point of a trial. You guys didn't know you were coming for a law lesson today.
Little law lesson.
Yeah.
But I did. But when you watch the movie, you don't have that reaction that there's swift justice taking place. You just think this is how it should go.
That's exactly what I would think how it should go.
This is it.
That's exactly
she didn't do it. She murdered him. Lock her up. Not even like, oh, let's start a trial for her.
No.
It's just she's going to go to jail.
Arrest her. Take her into custody. Yeah, it's really
I wish
fast.
we would have gotten I love this kind of trope, but I wish we would have gotten a scene where the Chutney knows she's going down, so she gets up from the witness box and runs for the door, and they tackle her. I love those kinds of scenes.
Funny. Yeah,
and her hair gets like caught on something.
Chutney's got some big fucking hair, and they carry her off in cuffs.
Chutney, obviously, some of the fashion in the movie is dated in terms of being very specifically early 2000s, but a lot of the stuff that Reese wears, and even Ali Larter and Selma Blair, doesn't scream early 2000s. It feels
it's
very
preppy. That's it.
Chutney looked like she was from a different world.
I know. I was like, this is 80s.
She felt very 80s and very, even Warner, when Warner's clothes are not dated either. Chutney felt like she was from a different era.
They wanted you to be like, what's with that hair? They wanted you to be
full
like,
of secrets.
Huh? It's full of secrets. Yeah, they want you to call attention to the perm. And it works. It works. I love the formula of this movie. Elle gets off the stand. Her big win. Warner's like, hey, baby, I'm finally ready.
He's like, I like you now.
Now I'm ready to marry you. And she's like, bye, bitch. She even uses his own words against him. She's like, if I'm going to be a lawyer by 30, I'm going to
be a partner at age 30.
I have some work to do.
Time.
Yeah, because he used that line on her. If I'm going to be a senator by 30, I have to marry whatever. Not a Marilyn. Right. A Jackie, not a Marilyn.
I need a Jackie, not a Marilyn.
Yeah.
That was great. And
girl power.
Another great thing about this movie is that it's a tight hour and a half. So
I was so thankful and
it's
so
the perfect
relieved.
It's the perfect length.
I miss these tight 90s.
It's the perfect length.
It's perfect.
And the next scene is literally graduation. Mm-hmm. We waste no time. We fast forwarded 3 years, and Elle is the student speaker, and she gives a pre-generic speech. And it feels good. It felt like the right way to end it.
The movie needed this sort of wrap up. It was like, what does happen to her? Does she finish law school? Does she become a lawyer? And it's a feel good movie. That's it. Like they're trying to make you happy, and they've succeeded.
Yeah.
And again, I love about not judging a book by its cover, which very much is the message of the movie.
For sure.
And
that's why I feel like this movie has not lost any of its messaging power. It still feels very relevant, and I don't think that it's aged poorly at all, unlike most of the other movies that we've seen.
This movie, I don't see very many issues at all. Because when it does the girl-on-girl battle, it very quickly shows us, no, we recognize Warner for who he is.
And sometimes girls fight.
And even
sorry,
I was trying to think is the gay stuff, but it's fine. It's if anything, it's reductive or stereotypical. But
it is, it's stereotypical.
that straight guys don't
It's
know
used
the brand.
in service, right? It's in service of showing us what kind of information she knows.
Yeah.
And
down.
I loved, and every time I see it, I love reading on the text on the screen that her and Vivian are best friends.
Loved it.
For life.
Warner graduated without honors.
Without
with
honors.
no job offers. With no girlfriend. And
her
Paulette marries the UPS guy.
Paulette marries the UPS guy. And this is rare, but the movie ends by playing Perfect Day again. Because as we find out in the little text on the bottom, that evening, Luke Wilson is going to propose to her.
I know.
And
what a bookend.
It felt so perfect, for lack of a better word, to replay the song at the end.
I love movie structure. I love
It's bookends. Risky. It's real risky to do that, but it really paid off.
Because you remember the last time we played Perfect Day?
The last time it wasn't a perfect day.
Didn't
this
work out.
time it was a perfect day.
It was a perfect
But if you think about it, she really needed both perfect days to get
here
where she is.
This
so
movie,
it actually was a perfect day.
Warm and fuzzies, let me just say. I felt
just like her pens with those little fuzzies on them.
Oh, I did notice. So in a lot of the classroom scenes, they're all in very dark clothing, but she's supposed to be the standout with that blonde hair, and then she's got the fuzzy pen. I just love those touches. Constantly pointing an arrow at this one's different. The orange computer. She's very much one of the only blonde girls in the whole movie. There are no other blonde women in the movie because they're really trying to
just in the sorority house.
Just in the sorority house, yeah. I guess I meant at law school. Sorry.
No, I know you're right.
At the end, her wig is pretty insane though. Bad wig.
At graduation?
Yeah, so I noticed something was off with the hair, and I did look it up. She was off shooting. Audiences felt like they needed to know what happened to Elle and like if she succeeded or failed or whatever. And so they did do some reshoots, and Reese was off shooting something in London, and she had short hair. Fun fact.
So
You're welcome.
Okay, so she's wearing a wig. Well, anyway, it's the perfect ending to this perfect movie.
Perfect ending, perfect movie.
The good news is that there's going to be a Legally Blonde 3, and I can't wait to see
original writers. Yeah, these writers were next level. Okay, this will make sense to you. They wrote The House Bunny.
Okay, that tracks.
That tracks, right? I love The House Bunny. Also very ahead of its time, I think. Love those. Yeah. Love the bunnies. Love them.
Well, that's that on that.
That's that on that. As Elle Woods would say, everyone thinks I just have blonde hair and big boobs. But I'm more than that.
More than that. Well, it was so good to touch down on it, and I'm glad that you were able to watch it for the first time. And I think it's the perfect bookend for our Reese mini unit to end on a high.
Yeah, I have to admit, I was like, I'm nervous to do movies that are like agreed upon as amazing. But I'm so happy we touched on this. It's just let's talk about all the ways in which it still works. Right. So if you haven't caught Legally Blonde in a tight decade, go catch it.
Go catch it.
It's so good. Holds up.
Holds up.
Bend and snap.
Bend and snap. Well.
Okay.
Thank you too.
Don't forget. Reese. Oh yeah, we always thank our stars.
Oh right.
Thank you, Reese Witherspoon and Selma Blair. We can thank those two. Yeah. Luke Wilson.
Thank you so much.
You were fine.
Ellie Larder, thank you. We wish nothing but the best for you.
I'm gonna go figure out what she's in and show her some support. Yeah. Because I want to make sure she can eat. Pay her bills.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't forget, everyone, to rate and review our pod. Comment on YouTube. Find my reaction video on YouTube if you're interested. And on that note, let's sign off. Bye, Steven.
Bye.
Bye.